Okay folks, we're back at it again. Today, this is part 2 of swapping a Onan generator out and putting in a Honda generator into an Arctic Fox camper. I believe it can be done. It's a quieter motor. It's a better made motor in my opinion, because I trust Honda over Onan, and I think it can fit. You just have to modify things. Now, I've got the generator out. Everything's safed off that needs to be safed off for the work area, and we're going to remove this metal frame. Let me turn the light on there so you can kind of see it a little better maybe. There we go. The metal frame here, at first I thought maybe it went under things, but no, it is just secured in with a lot of adhesive sealant, silicone of some sort. Probably not silicone, more an adhesive sealant. I banged on it with a hammer last night. You can see I've got it loose. I'm going to have to loosen the bolts that hold this unit in place from underneath here, I think. Right there, those three, and then cut that silicone across the face there, and I believe I'll be able to get this down. I may have to cut the silicone right here on this edge too, but as you can see, it's only about an inch square, or an inch rectangle piece. Not very thick, maybe 3/4 of an inch. So I know it's a completely separate standalone piece. And that's what I'm going to do now, and then I'll show you the pictures when we're done. Okay folks, here's the plan. I have put a razor knife around the perimeter as best I can. I can see that it seems to be under the edge of this a little bit. I really don't want to unbolt it at all, and I'm saying this part here. I really don't want to unbolt it even from below. So I think what I'm going to do, since I've got this loose here, here, and here is probably going to come out okay, I'm going to cut here, 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 and then probably cut this corner here. Maybe I'll just cut this corner, and these 4 pieces, and see if I can disassemble it that way and pull it out, because it seems to want to go out this way. I may leave this front piece on completely and use it as a bracket, and I may leave this piece on. I'm going to do some more measurements, this piece over here. If I can leave this and that and still get the thing in, because we're like an inch too short to clear, then that would be easier. We'll see what we can do. Hello, so back to this. We have a bit of an issue. The depth is 1/2 inch too short from this edge to this edge for the unit. So I cut into the wall here to see how much space behind this bracket I have. And I have plenty. I can take this out so I can give myself plenty of room here. And since I wasn't going to bring it up very high anyway, and I was going to keep it low, I'm just lowering it down to this mark instead of up here where I was going to keep it by extending a bracket down low. So instead of extending a bracket 6 inches, it'll hang below this level here by 9 inches, which will put it approximately, let's see, from the bottom edge, 9 inches. So it'll put it approximately an inch below that part. Still plenty of clearance when I'm on the road. This is way up in the air. I've driven with the step down and not dragged it on the ground. So this will still touch well before lowering the generator to the ground, because that's hanging out at 11, and that's about as low as I ever take it, is this almost touching the ground. So bracket in here, remove some stuff here, cut these parts here, peel this away, and then I'll be able to form a new bracket here. I'm going to bring back the support to this line, which is hanging off of this wall, carrying a load, and going underneath here. I may reinforce this with another piece of aluminum like that to give it more strength, and that'll be fine. Yeah, I'm confident I can make this fit. Okay, I'm committed. There's no going back without going to a camper repair shop. So I got my Milwaukee Sawzall. Love this one, the original. Going to use the back and forth, not the oscillating. Oscillating is for wood, back and forth is for metal. I got a nice, what is that, 18 teeth per inch, so it's going to be a pretty fine cut. 14 would probably do, but we're going to see how it goes. Let's see what happens. So these are aluminum, not steel. They're just painted black. Let's see. I think I'm just going to take these off for now. Okay. We're getting there. Apparently these bolts were sticking through, or there was a bolt through here. I don't know what. Somehow these were screwed from inside. I'll show you that picture in a second here. Let me show you. When I cut those off, these appeared, and I'm not sure what that is. I wonder what that is. Inside the tube like that. Oh well. I'm not too worried about it. I can grind that smooth, make that really good for my bracketry. I have to worry about the water pipes there. I might have to cut them a little bit, modify them, bring them up to the sink faucet in a different location somehow, possibly inside the cabinet. So I think I'm going to take this piece out now. Let me check my measurements, make sure I don't have to take this one off to fit the unit in, which I'm pretty sure I don't. Pausing. So you can see, but you can see how kind of flimsy this little setup was. Piece of 3/4 that hangs on the bottom of that 90-degree bracket I showed you before. Nothing really structural in here. This piece is loose. We'll look at that. I just cut it there because I had to cut it somewhere. But that's really not doing anything. This piece I didn't want to cut too close to the water pipes, so I will be more careful when I go to cut the water pipes. It looks like they've got some sort of sealing gimp in here. I'll pull this screw, see if I can get this cut and peeled up out of the way. Now I will air tighten this again using this kind of metal tape, and I may even get some sheet metal that I have and pop rivet it with some sealant behind these. But I mean, mind you, I've got to push this over, so I got to get into this a little bit, see how it goes. The biggest thing is trying to air tighten it through these gaps where it goes into the camper, and trying to put some metal in there where I can to make it heat resistant. Alright, after a little more work with the Sawzall and the grinder, I revealed the sheet metal and the framing. I'm going to take out this whole piece of 3/4. That doesn't need to be there. Here's the aluminum framing of the camper, which is how Arctic Fox campers are framed. So I'm down to the solid connection here. I'm going to cut this part off here. Oops, lost the light. Don't you love the original YouTube style videos the way it used to be? So I'm going to cut this one off here. And then I'll be able to build my new frame to match this perimeter that does exist. I haven't decided if I'm going to take this off or just mount onto it. probably going to mount onto it because I don't want to open this wall. There's no need to. I just need to build a frame that's going to be parallel level with this across. And then here, that has 4 arms going down so that I can slide the support system that I'm going to design and build for the Honda underneath and up. Yeah, this is, simple engineering, practical shade tree mechanics stuff here. It started raining. What's going on? July 5th, and it's raining. So I don't know what the term you would call me, but I'm a practical builder. That's who I look at it. And let's see. See, they just stapled the plywood in from the back side. And then they covered that with this piece of fiberglass, which is great, waterproofing. And then they did this little beauty ring here to cover the bottom of the plywood edge. Again, wonderful, keeps the plywood from getting destroyed by moisture. So my thoughts are, I'm going to make my outside bracket go from this connection here. Let's see if I can do this. I'm going to bring something along here and along here, tying into this, which is tied into this, which is tied into the frame. This is tied into the camper, obviously. It's an extra support 16th aluminum I put in there to connect these corners because they were exposed. I didn't like that, and I wanted something as a rub rail on that corner to reinforce it, and so I added these. So anyway, I'm going to tie the outside bracketry to here that I will then hang the sliding parts down, because the sliding parts are going to be brackets that carry the load of the camper, and then the load of the generator. So I'll bring the generator up, its platform will have matching tubing, and then I'll bolt through the tubing to hold them. I'll either use telescopic tubing or I'll use angle brackets. I haven't played around with anything yet at the hardware store. I know, not very professional, but very practical, and that's what I am. So, I've made myself some more room in here. I was a little worried at first that it wasn't going to fit, that I couldn't find the room, but I can. We can fit the cube in here. So, I will put some sealant along that edge there, where those are, so that I can bring that back up, waterproof that. I did take out the bracket here, exposing the aluminum framing right there. And then, I needed a little more space to account for those water pipes and clearing them. I don't want to have to relocate them. So I cut the aluminum off, exposing that to the back of the bumper here. I'm going to make my bracketry come off of this bumper right there. I got nice bolts and good steel to use, or heavy-duty aluminum, whatever it is. I haven't ground into it, so I don't know. I will spray foam this. I will create a little 1/4-inch plywood box to cover it. Spray foam seal all the holes in here that are going into the cabin area, and then cover everything with tinned sheet metal. I'm going to then put the bracketry across here that I will then hang it off of, and it'll hang off, and I'm going to slide it up. There'll be an open perforated platform for the airflow to go in, and then I'll be able to put bolts through. And then, if I ever need to repair it or do maintenance, like change the air filter, I will have to lower it, and I may even put it where the bolts are long enough. I don't know. Not going to get too tricky here. I'll just get it up and down on the floor jack, or create a platform that I lower it onto and lift it off of, because there's plenty of room under here for the generator to sit on a platform. And that's probably going to be the very next thing I do, actually, is create a platform to put the generator on, because it's going to allow me to test fit everything. Alright, here we go. So, I've made myself some more room in here. I was a little worried at first that it wasn't going to fit, that I couldn't find the room, but I can. we can fit the cube in. So I will put some sealant along that edge there, where those are, so that I can bring that back up, waterproof that. I did take out the bracket here, exposing the aluminum framing right there. And then I needed a little more space to account for those water pipes and clearing them. I don't want to have to relocate them. So I cut the aluminum off, exposing that to the back of the bumper here. I'm going to make my bracketry come off of this bumper right there. I got nice bolts and good steel to use, or heavy-duty aluminum, whatever it is. I haven't ground into it, so I don't know. I will spray foam this. I will create a little 1/4-inch plywood box to cover it. Spray foam seal all the holes in here that are going into the cabin area, and then cover everything with tinned sheet metal. I'm going to then put the bracketry across here that I will then hang it off of, and it'll hang off, and I'm going to slide it up. There'll be an open perforated platform for airflow to go in, and then I'll be able to put bolts through. And then, if I ever need to repair it or do maintenance, like change the air filter, I will have to lower it, and I may even put it where the bolts are long enough. I don't know. Not going to get too tricky here. I'll just get it up and down on the floor jack, or create a platform that I lower it onto and lift it off of, because there's plenty of room under here for the generator to sit on a platform. And that's probably going to be the very next thing I do, actually, is create a platform to put the generator on, because it's going to allow me to test fit everything. All right, here we go.